Hello and welcome. Friday evening. It's been a while. Even the last Friday evening stream was on Thursday. So, travels and everything. We already had a stream this week, but yeah. There we are. So let me quickly check how we're doing on actually being live. That looks promising. Okay, cool. I have a little disclosure for everyone who's on LinkedIn. I might not see your comments and messages. So, please please join us on Twitch or YouTube, the AI Boardroom. Find it on my LinkedIn profile. So we will have kind of a two-part stream. We will start with some news, like you've seen in the description, and then after we get through the news section, some things I've seen and found interesting, with a big Copilot blog today, to at least have a look, because I want to point out a bit of Microsoft's messaging and stuff. So yeah. And then we will finish up LinkedIn and finish the AI Boardroom stream, because then the business part is over. And then we will go over on Twitch and my private YouTube channel to go through concepts and maybe try windsurf today. We'll see. That being said, let's quickly start with Model Context Protocol. This one was, I find, kind of interesting. So what Anthropic did here was they presented a new protocol, as the name suggests. And this protocol is kind of interesting. It tries to introduce a standard how to integrate tooling into AI solutions. What does this mean? So what they did basically is they brought up this thing, Model Context Protocol, gave it a name, and they gave it a lot of specification in GitHub, and they gave it a project structure and how to build this stuff. And then they have this repository here called servers, where they basically said, hey, this is what we already have, which you can integrate. You can and you can build your own stuff, and there's still things to come. So I had set this up. It wasn't it's not that simple, but you need first of all the Claude app, which I think I can share my screen. There we go. So you need the Claude app, and if you add a configuration to your Claude app, I'm not sure how this works on Windows, so I'm sorry for that, but you find a new button here in the top, in the bottom right of the input field, and this button shows you basically what you have in here, and that's kind of interesting. So I've added Brave Search, which is just like a search engine, and they have an API, and they also have the Brave Search here. They have a server for that, and additionally to that, I also added file handling, which is basically locally on my machine, gives the option to handle files, to create files in a directory. Let me quickly check if I can bring this up. open recent. Open. So just so. Oh, why is the screen not there anymore? Am I still streaming? Let me try again. I lost my screen share. Why is that? Ah, there we go. Okay. Then we need this to be here. Stream. Model context protocol. Okay. So, of course, I already tested it and created here a file. But let's just do it live. So. What actually happened was we created a configuration file. We put this configuration file into the application folder where all the files for this Claude desktop app are. It recognizes this config because it has a specific naming, and then we went over and said, okay, these are the tools that you should integrate, and now you have these tools actually accessible to the Claude desktop app, which means like I can say like research everything you can find on the Microsoft Ignite 2024 and save it to a summary file on my computer. So, and if I now say, hey, go ahead, it then starts querying and checks the tools. And now I can, for this chat, it's a bit annoying, you have to do this for every chat. You can say, hey, allow for this chat. And then it goes ahead, uses the tool, queries whatever you asked for in this Microsoft Ignite, in our case here. And then I allow it to check my file system directory, and I allow to create a directory and a file, I guess, which will be, yeah. So, and this basically extends the normal chat of Claude to a completely new dimension, which is like I can now create files on my local machine. And in the configuration, I set up which folder he's allowed to use. And now we have here, even inside the folder, he created a new folder with the Ignite summary. And we can have a look at it. And here is basically what he found with the search as a file on my PC. The beauty of it is you can now actually use that and create your own servers and integrate your own APIs, and then you can use the standard Claude app with the tooling, and it's a lot more like accessible than, for example, like deploying your own API with an open API standard description and then post this into a GPT and stuff. Here you set up a Python project, you integrate all that, you want to integrate, and you're good to go. And that's kind of nuts if you think about it, especially because you can create files. So I could also create basically like Python files, which I can then execute and stuff. I think I could even like let it execute files and have some version of computer use without the screenshot part. So yeah, this is kind of really interesting, and I found it actually being a cool idea. Like what does this mean in general? Like they want to introduce a standard, so that means this whole thing is open source, and you can now integrate this in the Claude desktop app. But you could also think about like if you have your own AI application, you could basically say, okay, I implement the standard, this MCP standard, And if you've done this, you then are able to actually just integrate other MCP servers, which also comply to the standard, and can integrate external tools into your application by using the tool use functionality. So I find it at least an interesting idea, because right now everyone's doing whatever they come up with and hard coding stuff into their applications. And if you think about how integrated the world is on the web is, especially if you're like on the Google side, where you have basically each application integrating with each application and third-party integrations, API, REST services, webhooks, whatever, it kind of goes into the same direction, where we say, hey, we have some standard which we comply to, which then allows us for like cross-functional integration of stuff. And yeah, I really like this. They also showed some adaptations that are already on the way. Haven't used it yet, but really interesting idea, at least, and something that's worth noting or mentioning. Okay, that's MCP. Like I said, we just added a configuration. Now this has tools that can use. These are the tool usages. You can like just see what it does or what it did. And in this case, we just randomly researched something and saved a file to my computer, which I can now read and use. And you can build your own MCP servers and go along with that. So for everyone that that has at least remotely knowledge about how to set up a new file inside of application folder, you basically are able to extend your Claude app to use that. And for every developer out there, you can build your own servers, integrate your own applications with the Claude chat app, desktop app, natively basically. And I find it interesting. Would be interesting to see what happens if you basically say, hey, I have like 100 tools. Is it then still able to figure out the right ones to use, or will it be like, what is like if I have different marketing tools from different providers, which one to choose and stuff? So there is still some questions, but in general, like just giving an external app access to my file system and access to create files, create research results. I actually thought about like just to integrate the API of my like bookkeeping software, where I can like upload the whatever document I just have to, like an invoice. I have the invoice. I just upload it to Claude, and Claude directly creates the corresponding data set in my bookkeeping software, stuff like that. So you see, like you're basically free to do whatever you need, and it's it's cool. I use Claude all the time, so for me, the use cases are even more attractive, because it's where I'm at anyway, because I use Claude a lot. So having the option to put in my own tools, it's really awesome. And have a look, try it out, and I'm pretty sure there is some use case for everyone here. And even if it's something like this, like having it research a topic, create a file on my PC, which I can then like maybe not directly send out, but at least work with, and don't have to copy stuff around. Found it really interesting. Okay, cool. That being said, let's hop to the next. Let me quickly switch the screen share, because we need audio for that. Play screen sharing, Chrome tab. There we go. Okay. One thing I found actually highly interesting was this one. Nvidia created a new model which produces audio files. And this is like using text and audio as inputs to generate a new generative AI model from Nvidia can create any combination of music, voices, and sound. And when they say any combination, they mean any combination. So we will have a look at this in a second. But I think they have some. It wasn't here. They had basically like. A table showing like that this one model does basically everything that all the other models do that produce some kind of audio. But yeah, okay, then like let's just jump into the actual video and have a look. I hope that you get the voice. I have to check this. Where can we... Okay, so
instructing Fugato is the latest generative AI breakthrough from Nvidia. This new allows you to create speech and music from text and audio inputs. You can go to create unexpected sound effects, where familiar sounds take on surprising new qualities and invoke new experiences.
So that, I think that in and of itself is already impressive. And also, I hope you can get the quality.
Or direct immersive and really shifting soundscapes for film or audio productions.
Thinking about like how often I searched for sound and I couldn't find it in the library, just being able to create it. I think like that's actually awesome.
Instructing Fugato to extract audio elements from a sound clip, such as isolating a voice track in a piece of music, is just as easy.
So that's the input audio. Now they just isolated the voice.
Fugato also allows you to generate new speech samples.
To make this possible.
Kids are talking by the door.
And if you want a different delivery, Fugato can do that too.
Kids are talking by the door.
Kids are talking by the door.
Fugato also lets musicians experiment with existing audio by adding new instruments. Or completely changing the style of a melody they wrote.
And this is all one model.
You can also dream up unusual instrument combinations like this. Or explore entirely new realms, producing sounds that bring creative concepts to life. Fugato is a groundbreaking foundation model that gives you sonic superpowers, opening up new possibilities for creativity and production.
Yeah, well, I've personally found this so impressive that I had to give it a shot. And actually, yeah, I was blown away that we can just like, and the thing is, this is a 2.8 billion parameter model, which is fairly small. Like, it's not like, it won't, I'm not sure if maybe it will even run unquantized on your iPhone, for example. But think about what it could do. Like, yeah, it's actually, I find it, I have a sweet spot for sound, just like from my history, and isolating tracks from like a mixed, from a mix was like a horrible experience back in the day. Talking about the business use. So I think, like, in general, for all the creatives, like being able to just generate sounds or even compose new stuff with existing audio, that is actually really powerful for marketing purposes. Like think about like what you need to do today to get to even like a simple track or some melody or some vocals, for example. If you can't sing yourself or you don't have anyone at your disposal that can, but you have a cool beat and you want to have some voice or speaking voice or something like generated at a small budget. Of course, it's not perfect, but honestly, for 2.8 million, you can 2.5 million billion parameters, you can run this locally on your own in your own like system. So I think that's actually powerful to use. I think it doesn't say when it's available, right? They trained it like on 32 Nvidia H100, which I found not even like that huge, right? Like if you think how much compute goes into training ChatGPT or Grok or something, Elon Musk just like deployed 100,000 GPUs. So that's I find this amazing development because if you have a sound voice, if I say car and I say it 3 times, the sound wave looks like you have 3 different sound waves. They don't look the same. They have similarities, but they're not the same. So like constructing, reconstructing, and just enabling sound, I found it pretty interesting. I also I thought if these models get like fast enough, you can basically take your voice from your telephone and just like reprocess it through an AI in real time if it gets fast enough, to then just put out a new like synthetic version of what you said, but in a clean HD voice, because I don't know how much you called people on like a regular phone lately, but it's still a fairly narrow band with a lot of losses and still like sounds like garbage, even if you talk through LTE or 5G. Definitely something to keep an eye on. And as soon as it's available, I'll definitely will try it out. This should easily run on my computer. And and then we maybe try some use cases. Next on the list, Microsoft Ignite. I found that Microsoft has like a 90-second roundup of the key highlights. So I'll just play this video too, and then we'll go through what I think about it.
Welcome to Ignite. Today I want to focus on AI as it drives growth in business. It improves efficiency, it improves operating leverage. We are building out 3 platforms: Copilot, Copilot devices, and Copilot and AI stack. I want to talk about something that we are prioritizing above all else, that is security. And today, I'm really excited to announce our zero-day quest. Copilot is the UI for AI. Over the past year, we've seen incredible momentum. What Lean did for manufacturing, AI will do for knowledge work. It's all about increasing value and reducing waste. Today, I'm really excited to announce Copilot Actions. You can use Copilot to reduce the amount of time you spend on repetitive, everyday tasks. We're also giving you the ability to easily create your own Copilot agents using Copilot Studio. I'm really thrilled to announce Windows 365 Link. You can see it right here. We're building out a first-class app server for the AI age, announcing Azure AI Foundry. Our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more, one community and one country at a time.
Everyone will achieve anything. Some would say a typical Microsoft demo. Let me quickly pull up the Microsoft Ignite website. So as Satya just told, they have different stuff, and I found a lot of it kind of interesting. One thing I noticed, I also went to a Microsoft-dominated event in the beginning of the month in Vienna, and I noticed I was on the same event last year, and Microsoft already was there with AI, and they showed AI task forces and stuff. But they showed mildly interesting things, and they didn't follow it up in the actual deep dive sessions. You go into the deep dive sessions, you see basically all their tooling and everything is still pretty rough and everything. If you don't know, they present you a lot of tooling, but if you don't know how to work with AI in the first place, you basically lost there with the tooling instead of just being lost. This was. And the whole wording, the whole marketing was around hey, look what AI will do, basically everything in Copilot, and Copilot your UI for AI and stuff. The last part didn't change. What changed, I think, is their approach of seeing this as a stack, putting a lot of emphasis on tooling, which I found really, really interesting. Because one thing that I wish Copilot would do more is being proactive or being even autonomous, and being able to do stuff with me just giving some input. And it does finally get sufficient tooling to get there. One thing for us in Germany, it's still a bit annoying, at least as far as I've seen, the German versions of everything are still lacking or just plain not available. So if you're watching from Germany, we are still a bit out of luck. Also, what they showed on the last event I went to in Business Central, it's we get the stuff in April. If you want to test it out from January, you can just set up a US sandbox and then you can test it in there. But if you're not on the German version, you're basically out of luck. So that being said, I found two parts actually really interesting, and I'm not sure if they are in here. But what I found really interesting was first Copilot agents, where Microsoft actually goes ahead and shows how they allow you to build up agents, and that's also pretty interesting, they have out-of-the-box agents. So first of all, they added basically a built-in RAG solution into SharePoint. So you on every SharePoint site, you can basically chat with all the documents in there, which is kind of neat, saves you a lot of time. Then you have pre-built stuff. I think this is linked. Can I find it here? They have pre-built stuff that they tested out for. I think they built it with McKinsey. I'm not sure about this. But the really important thing is now we can build our own agents and build these agents with. Can I find it somewhere? And can build this agent basically with autonomous triggers. So maybe it's also the wrong part of the video. And then you integrate them. You can use them now in a way where they are just looking at triggers, looking at contents, reacting to them, preparing stuff. And Business Central Microsoft had a really good solution of human in the loop. So I kind of don't find the actual parts. And what they also showed was this. I think that's the slide here. No, there we go. Third-party agents. So that they already have like third-party agents where stuff is integrated. So you can have, we talked about an integration with the MCP by Claude. Basically, we have here the same thing where Microsoft says, hey, we have this Copilot Studio. You can now integrate different sources properly and basically out of the box through Copilot Studio. And then you link them together and you can offer them to your customers directly so they can integrate them into their workflows with your existing apps, LinkedIn, Workday, ServiceNow, Adobe, a lot of really interesting things. They also improved existing Copilots in Excel and PowerPoint, but as we are here about like building stuff for out for your company and for your specific needs, I think Copilot Studio is what it's really interesting. Another thing that I found actually really interesting, I'm not sure, is it that? No, that's performance. Is they announced basically inside their AI stack, they have a lot of security and emphasis, and they had this for a long time. But one thing I found really interesting was they had something, I think they called it Copilot Analytics. Copilot Analytics. Yeah. Where you can actually measure impact on your business. And that's something I definitely will check out really, really soon, because these systems will need setup. They will need configuration. You have to get your copilots and their effect, and you have to somehow get metrics onto that can feed into the analytics tool. But then you have actual business value representation. Means it's not only showing you what tokens you spend and stuff. It's actually trying to get you some insights into the business value the usage of AI has generated. Like, how much time did we save? How much did our sales improve? How much did our marketing campaigns improve? How much did productivity improve? Like these kinds of things. And I this one I found really interesting, because you basically we now like a lot of companies have this need now to track their carbon footprint. There's a lot of emphasis on solutions around that, and it's really, really cool to then kind of get into the nitty-gritty parts and tag any articles you say you sell, but also that you buy with a CO2 or with an environmental footprint. It's not only CO2, and then you kind of through your whole supply chain try to measure what is the footprint your company has and the companies of your company have. And basically now you have this Copilot Analytics thing where Microsoft says, hey, you can do the same here, but we measure all these things that we just had kind of a feeling to it. Now we give you a tool to actually put in the metrics and measure your actual productivity gain. And I found this is like really, really, really interesting. I will have a look. We might have a look together live on stream. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's actually one of the coolest things. And another thing is, like, I think it's shown right in the beginning somewhere, was Copilot Actions. Let me quickly have a look if I can. It shows like, hey, Vodafone saves 3 hours per person per week, and they handle 45 million customer engagements through their chat. I'm not sure if Vodafone, like, I think Vodafone forces you into the chat, so don't trust statistics you didn't come up yourself with. So kind of have struggling to find, is this the same? Like this is the keynote that I'm referring to. He was showing Copilot actions pretty far in the beginning. Outlook Copilot, that's not for us today. Copilot actions, there we go. So regain focus and time and simplify your workday. And they had like a really interesting thing. So you basically build up a message. You can reference different people from your team or complete teams. You can say what actions you want to do and how to react to those actions and when this should be done. And then you can basically save this action, because if it's a repeatable task, you just like, you can redo it, you can even schedule it, which I find really interesting. So in the end, it takes in your prompt, basically, like your what is it that you want to do. It prepares then basically a pipeline for you of things to do and message to draft, send messages to them, send a reminder one day before, and send a summary over email. So that, like, from the first message, he then derived the single steps to execute, and then you basically can execute it in Teams, and the Copilot action actually does all the steps you would have done manually before. I found it really interesting, and something maybe even like not tech savvy users are going to like and going to use. All depends on how well it is integrated, how well it is functioning. Of course, we don't know this yet, or at least I don't know it yet. I think I have some LinkedIn contacts that are actually already playing with that stuff, but it's not me. I don't have access yet to these, but I find these solutions are like one of the higher degree of usefulness while not being too complicated, and I think that's actually interesting. Yeah, I just seen that Svetlana. Can show you a message here. Yeah, I can. Sustainability of AI is an emerging field. Good to say. Azure coming up with tools for their clients to leverage. Yeah. That's what I meant. Like, don't just tell people AI is useful, but no, give them the tools to actually measure it. I find it highly interesting. Okay, so Copilot actions, and then I think. Do we have Copilot agents? Yeah. These are the agents basically that I talked about there that are pre-built. They have the facilitator agent, project manager, employee self-service, SharePoint agents. These are the ones that we talked about in the beginning. So a lot of stuff, a lot of useful stuff, to be honest. And it's also, I find it kind of funny that we have these like project manager agent, because I think it was last year in summer, I got into a new project, and this project basically was really, really struggling because people weren't talking properly with each other. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have an AI basically collecting all the informations, knowing all the details of all the documents, because we had like 100 files with several pages of protocols that were already like piled up, and nobody basically reads anything of it. Or even like, you don't even have the time. Like, I was new to the project. I was thrown in like on the last third basically. And we were sitting, and I was sitting there like, what should I do with all these protocols? Like, we had documents like 160 pages of concept, which was awful. And then but Copilot was already there, and they already were like pushing it. And I thought, okay, this is the kind of solution I wouldn't even attempt to build, because, and now I see it, project manager agent, it's like perfectly suited for Copilot, because it has your graph access, and it has a lot of it. So it knows all your files. It knows the files, like, while still keeping an eye on your right structure and stuff, and what do you even allow to have access to. So this is like really, really, really like the perfect example, because you have all these files, you have an Excel with the budgets in there, you have all the documentation, protocols of meetings and stuff. You have everything in there. So like this is the perfect space to be in if you want to do something like a project management AI. And yeah, I'm actually not exactly sure what this will be capable of, but like I said, for me it was like a no-brainer to and not even like a no-brainer to do this, but also to not attempt it, because it's well suited for some company like Microsoft with all their integrations, with all their access, to just be in there and deliver the project management and controlling agents of your dreams. Okay. And Jesse, sorry, I also seen you have written like back then with the MCP stuff about the Ignite summary. I'm not sure if you mean that the summary is great, because you not really could you read it in like this scroll through that I had. Nevertheless, the general idea of being able just to create a summary of basically whatever you can search for, was really, really cool. Okay, I would love to also like have a peek into the Copilot Studio, but I'm not sure if it's shown here actually. There we go, Copilot Studio. That one I've seen a bit more. I've had in-depth sessions for the Copilot Studio in Vienna. I had mixed feelings. So first of all, Microsoft's whole wording, that's what I want to emphasize, is a lot better. It's not like AI will do everything for you, like no questions asked. But they are more like, hey, here's sufficient tooling, here's testing environments, here's stuff. Like you can now not only like use it, but also like build on it, build with sufficient tooling. And that is awesome, because that's what I was lacking in the Copilot realm as a whole, because like you could integrate stuff deeper with external tooling and stuff before, but now they kind of open up the right paths to do so. And I found it really, really interesting. Like Copilot Studio still is kind of the Copilot version of the GPTs from ChatGPT, but with all the access to your business data. But now they also open this integration of Power Automate, for example, so that you can build more complex flows in there. And that's what I preach. Like you have to get some multi-step prompting and things into their systems to get stuff like re-ranking, for example. Like I'm always when I try to get re-ranking into my RAG applications, which means that I retrieve the documents that fit to the request, and then I'll look at the documents I found and like do a re-rank and look at each document which might fit best, and try to figure that out, because the best match mathematically based on the embeddings might not be the best match for that request. So it's kind of really helpful to being able to build more complex pipelines, and Microsoft's now opening up the systems in the right way. Because one thing I'm still not sure on this, but Microsoft does this like you don't need to code to build applications thing for a long time now. But the people using Power Automate, Power Apps, for example, or Power BI, are still the service providers. Like Microsoft's whole idea of, like, I think back in the day they called it like citizen developer. I think in 2019, 2020, I was on several Microsoft events where I heard the term. it never went through. And why is that? Because like if you build any sort of app, and you can with Copilot build an app in 5 minutes, but as soon as you get to some resistance, you need to understand the underlying logic and the logical thinking of building applications. You can't take this away. You can't abstract this away. And you can make access easy, but you still need people that understand actual like how this stuff works. And I feel with AI, it will be the same, because if you think about it, we now the access is not only logic, but the access is like language. So even especially the guys that like relied on logic, like us programmers, we struggle a lot with AI to get it to a place where even we understand what it does in the first place, and also to get it to be reliable, because we're not actually experts in ambiguity of language. Because and also we think fairly linear, while I try to teach everyone to not think linear in terms of AI applications, because stuff gets a bit different, a bit can even at times get a bit messy. So yeah. That being said, I like that for people who actually can build stuff with AI, having more sufficient tooling that then is like neatly integrated into the Microsoft environment, I think that's a big deal, because you have your customers maybe already, and there are so many companies, they're doing SharePoint, they're doing Teams and Office, Microsoft 365, and now they have Copilot Studio and can bring AI to good use and to like more complex use cases that are more tailored to the needs of your customer, of your clients. And this like opens up the combination of like being able to integrate things like fairly easily, because you are in your Microsoft environment, combined with your knowledge and your skill set of building AI applications. And a lot of the technicalities you have to deal with when you build this like all manually yourself is just abstracted away. You can focus on building the application. And I think that's really neat. That's, for example, also something I like with the Swarms library of OpenAI, where they said, hey, you want to build agent systems? You can't hear me. Okay. That's I have the LinkedIn stream and it sounds fine, honestly. Okay. So yeah, sorry if you have audio problems. I shouldn't be the case, but yeah. But I've finished this section now. Okay, thank you, Blackstone River Workshop. For your assurance. I stream to 4 channels at the same time, so I don't have them all open. But okay, Svetlana fixed it. Nice. Okay, thanks. Okay, just to close it off. So I like what they do with the Copilot Studio, because it gives you access to your Microsoft environment, which has, for a lot of companies, all of your data and all of your right structures and everything already set up. And you can now combine it with sufficient AI pipelines that can do more than just simple RAG solutions. Then they enable all integrations, third-party integrations coming in. You can like rely on Microsoft pushing this really hard with their partners. So yeah, you will have all your tooling. You can all integrate it with Copilot that flows all into Teams. I know not everyone likes Teams. I myself do. And having easy access to that, yeah, just enables a lot of people build great stuff with AI. And I think that's important. We all have to try to build great stuff with AI so people adopt it better and don't think it's it's a scam or something because it's not. It's actually fairly useful, and the sooner we get this whole agent theme going inside of real companies with real use cases tailored to their specific needs, we will have a big win on our side, and we will get the whole industry a lot closer to getting into an AI future, and hopefully reduce annoying work for the other people that, yeah. I simply hate to know that we have people that's sitting like 8 hours a day using their precious resource, which is their brain, to upload files. Like, we can do better, I think, and I hope AI brings us to that future where we can, actually do the creative parts, the interesting parts, the hard parts. If you think about accounting, you have hard cases. AI will still take it needs to take a long way and a windy road to get to a point where it can do the really complex cases. Right now, it's even struggling with mildly complex cases. I think the mildly complex stuff will be solved next year with agents, but like the real complex stuff, I know accountants and they like the complex stuff, and to solve it, for them it's like puzzles, like Sudoku or something. So I think that's actually something to look forward, and also for all the employees. Like, it's not about getting rid of you or your jobs or something. It's about getting stuff done, so you can focus on actual value creation, which, at least to me, and I know for a lot of other people, is more fun than doing annoying, boring work. So yeah, I think we'll leave it with that. And this was our section about some news which I collected. There is so much more that happened the last week. Like, we have reasoning models in open source that at least try to match what O1 can do, but while being not as big and heavy, a lot cheaper on the API side. There is so much stuff happening. Lots more to talk. I will try to do more streams a week and hope I can get you up to speed. And I promised an announcement. So on Monday or Tuesday, still in the open, I will launch a new community. So because I figured out I talk a lot about AI, I talked a lot to people, and there's, I think, a lot of stuff that I can share with all of you that would help you to, like I just said, bring AI to the masses. And so I would love to, open a new community. For now, it will be for free. I'm not sure how it will be in the future, but for now, it will be free access, and for everyone who's in there, it will stay free. And I'll create a post. I'll show the community in a video. Still some finishing touches here and there. The first course, I also will launch courses there, and you can do like the AI courses. The first course will launch maybe around Christmas, latest in January, and we'll handle the whole notion of we need to find use cases, because I think there is a paradigm we can apply which helps us understand the whole thing better. And then at least that's what experience shows, is like people find use cases fairly quickly. Svetlana is also here, at least on the LinkedIn chat. I think she will be part of that too. So you're welcome. On next week we will get a new podcast episode ready. So get ready for that either. So a lot of stuff coming. I'll try to make this a busy Christmas time for me and an informative Christmas time for you. So let's get AI ready before the holidays, and then we can finish out the year by just knowing a lot more about this whole new topic. I will now finish off the streams for all the LinkedIn viewers and the AI boardroom viewers. So I don't know why I looked there. There is no one but screen. But yeah, thanks for watching. You can please go to Twitch or YouTube to my private channel. I'll post them quickly here. And join us there, but it will get more technical now. So if you're not on the technical stuff, this might be not the best. Might be not the best content, or not the most interesting content. It is, I hope, good, at least good content. We will talk about my agent framework a bit. We will talk about the We will talk about the new coding editors, because like there's like a gazillion of them. And yeah, I hope you have a nice evening. I wish you have a wonderful weekend with your families, wherever you are. And yeah, I'll see you on LinkedIn and AI Boardroom next week. New podcast episode. Stay tuned. And yeah, also check out my LinkedIn, Svetlana's LinkedIn. Then you see the podcast announcement as soon as it's online. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice evening, and let's go over to the technical parts.